So the first thing I want to do is I want to actually make a different lighting preset for when it rains. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down to the light settings of the map editor, and I'm going to set the light to a bit grayer for both the ambient and the directional light. So it looks quite gloomy. Something like, not too much, but just enough that it's clearly not nice. And then we'll reduce the shadows. Something like that. And then we're going to save that as a global preset. And we're going to call this overcast. So when it rains, it's going to look like this. So it's not going to be bright and sunny when it's raining. Okay. So now let's think about how we're going to implement rain. So for that, we're going to go to the new day script. So I'm going to open this up. And at the very bottom here, we're going to use this global property that we set up earlier in Startup, where we set up the rainy months, which is October, November, March, and April, which March will now be one of those months. So as soon as it stops snowing, there is a chance it might immediately start raining. You never know. So going back to the new day script. So what we're going to do is very much like we did with the snow. We're going to check if global property rainy months contains global.property month text. So in other words, if the month that we're on at the moment, which it will be when it swings around to March, is contained in that global property array, which it will be because it's a rainy month, then we want some things to happen. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it so that it's not always raining, because obviously, it's not always going to rain. So I'm going to make a chance of rain. So I'm going to create a variable called $chance, and it's going to equal a random number. And this is going to be the chance every day in March, April, October, and November of it raining. Okay. Now, just for the purposes of the demo and the tutorial, I'm going to make it a 50-50. So it's either 0 or 1, 0 or 1. So it's a 50-50 shot, right? If you want to make it less likely or more likely to rain, whichever you want to do, then you could say, a number between 0 and 5. And then you could say if it's, less than 2, then it rains. If it's greater than 2, then it doesn't rain. So that means you've got less chance of it raining. You've got, 1 in 2 chance of it raining, and then 3 out of 5 of it, not raining. You get what I'm trying to say. So the more numbers you have in here and the way you set the range will make it more or less likely to rain. In my case, 50-50, 0 or 1, one of the two. So every day it's going to be a 50-50 shot of it either raining or not. So then we'll check that number. So if $chance is equal to, let's say 0, and I realize I've typed that wrong. Let's make this the rain number. So if you're unlucky and you get 0, then it rains. So what we want to do is we want to attach, because again, we don't want to have it on the map itself. We want to attach it to the player so that it follows us wherever we go. So we want to attach rain, the effect, to the player on their head attach point. That will start the rain. Then we want to create a global property, raining equals true, so we can keep track of the fact that it has decided to rain, and that's that. Otherwise, if we rolled a 1, then we want to check, first of all, this is the most important thing, otherwise you'll get an error. We want to check if the previous day was raining. So, if you imagine the 1st of March, the chance is 0, then that means the 1st of March is going to be raining, okay? Then let's say on the 1st of March, it rolls a 1. What we want to do before we disable anything is make sure that on the 1st it did actually rain. Because if it didn't rain, then we're going to get errors when we try to detach or disable the rain effect if it wasn't there to begin with. So we're going to check whether this property is true, because if it's true, then we can guarantee that that effect is attached to the player, okay? And if that's the case, then we want to create a local variable called rain, which is going to equal player.effect head, and that's going to be whatever the effect is that's on that attach point, in this case the rain, and we want to disable that effect. $rain. That will stop the rain on a chance of 1. Okay. Now we need to also add an else to our main if, because what if it's not a rainy month? I.e., what if you've left April and you've gone into May? Well, we also need to check, was the last of the month before it changed, was it raining? So again, if global property raining is true, then we can safely remove the effect. Otherwise, it will get an error again, because we'll be trying to remove something that was never there in the first place. $rain equals player.effect head, and then disable effect $rain. And then because this is now essentially leaving the rainy month, it'll either be winter, it'll be like December or January, February, that sort of thing, or it's because it's summer. We want to wait, let's say 3 seconds, because the rain is going to come down much quicker, so it should stop much quicker than the snow. And then we want to detach effect from the player head, and that will remove that effect. Okay, so apply and save that. Oh no, we're missing an end, I think. So we've got this if, else, yeah, we need an end here, sorry. Again, this is what happens when you don't end your ifs. Right, and then that should be right. Great. Okay, and obviously what we should do as well is when it stops raining, so every time it stops raining, we should record the fact that it isn't. Including down here. Okay, so that will get the rain effect playing when it's, so just to reiterate, if it's a rainy month, a random chance of rain 50-50. If it's the 0 side of 50-50, then attach the effect rain to the player's head, it will start raining. Set the fact that it's raining to true. Otherwise, if it then rolls on a different day that it's 1, so it's the lucky side of the rain chance, then if it's currently already raining still, then store the rain effect in that variable, disable the effect, set that it's not raining. If it wasn't already raining, then it would just, carry on as normal. So in other words, if you had 2 days in a row where it's not raining, then the first time it would stop the rain. The second time it would see that this is not true, so it wouldn't then bother trying to disable the effect. And now we'll keep going all the way while it's a rainy month. And then if it's not a rainy month, we'll then just check, was it still raining on the last day of the month? If so, disable it, wait a few seconds, then detach it so it's gone completely from the player's head, and also set the fact that now it's not raining anymore. So that's the rain effect. But we also implemented an overcast lighting preset. So what's that for? That's for our hour script. So we have here this preset at 8 o'clock in the morning. We apply lighting preset daytime. So what I want to do instead is add, instead of just automatically applying that preset, if it's 8 a.m., we're going to check if global.property raining is true, then we don't want to apply the daylight preset. We want to apply the overcast preset, 5 seconds. We'll keep the torches on because in a low light environment like that, you would keep the lights lit. Otherwise, if it's not raining, then we may as well just use this. You can apply the lighting preset and play group animation. And then what we also need to think about is, no, that's fine. And then this will need to be in-jogged as well, because it's now part of another if. And then we need to end this if. Okay, so just to go over this, if it's 8 o'clock and it's PM, then it's night, obviously, and put the torches on. Else, if it's not night, then it's 8 in the morning. If it's, good job I checked, because as always, I've typed that wrong. If it's raining, then apply lighting preset overcast. If it's not raining, then apply lighting preset daytime and let the sun come out. And also turn the torches off if that's the case. And then also, if it's snowy, when the sun comes out, then obviously start melting the snow. So that should now be a fully implemented weather system. So hopefully you've been following along with this. I know there's a fair bit to it. Obviously this is quite a complicated system, but I just wanted to expand upon what we've been covering so far with the clock and the calendar and talk about how you might set up seasons. Obviously, if you're just looking to learn how to implement weather very simply, then hopefully there's a few things in here that will help you. You can cherry pick things from this video. You can make it as complicated or as simple as you want from this video. You don't have to do all of this, for example. But this video should at least show you how to get snow to fall, how to get snow to settle. You don't necessarily have to worry about when it happens. Like, it has to happen in March, December, it has to happen in February, that sort of thing. You can set it to just snow in your game all you want, and you can, obviously now know how to do that. So hopefully, this video can be as simple or as complicated as you want it to be, but I hope it has at least shown how to implement a weather system and a season system if you want to do so. Let's end the video by checking it. We'll play the game and we'll see if it all comes together. Now I should point out, one mistake as well is when you set a color lighting preset, you need to put the default one back, because that's what's going to happen. That's what's going to show when you play the game. So we want it to start sunny. Now, obviously, because of how we've set things up, the in-game calendar always starts on January. So it should technically be snowing because it's a winter month. But I'm just skipping forward to the 28th of February so we can get into March when it starts to rain. So we'll leave it here so that at midnight we can check whether it decides to rain or not using that chance variable. But yeah, what I was saying is that obviously it should have started snowing because January is a winter month, but because it hadn't had a chance yet to check the new month was, a winter month, we probably should put in startup that it should also execute script snowfall. But, I'm going to leave that for now. But I just wanted to explain that obviously it should be snowing in January, but it's just because the game starts in January, it didn't have a chance to check the month and all of that. So bear that in mind as well. But if we left the game to cycle around to December, it would start snowing again, naturally anyway. And it would snow all the way through December, January and February. And obviously you can adapt this system. So let's just see what happens at midnight on the 1st of March. So it doesn't look like it's going to rain, but the snow should stop. And so because it's not raining, it should become a brighter day. What we'll do is we'll leave, obviously we can see the snow melt as well, because that's going to happen at 8 o'clock in the morning. What we'll do is we'll do another 24 hours and we'll just see what happens on the 2nd of March, see whether it decides to rain or not. Hopefully within the next day or so it will start to rain. And again, you can mess around with the chance probability to affect how likely you don't even have to use chance. If you wanted it to absolutely rain in March, you'd set it up like we did with the snow, where it just always happens on that month, So the snow should start to melt, which it's doing. We can no longer walk across the lake, which is great. So it's now a completely normal textured day on the 1st of March. So we'll just let it swing back round to midnight again, and we'll see if it starts to rain. And if it starts to rain, we'll then check at 8 in the morning whether it's overcast. So as we wait for this to cycle around, this is where I'll end the video. Myself, personally speaking, I will end the video here. Again, I hope those of you that stuck with it didn't find it too complicated to follow. If you have any questions with this system and with anything, as always, feel free to ask on the Discord. I'm happy to answer any questions about this. And as I say, you can make this as complicated or as simple as you want. You can cherry pick. Hopefully there's enough things in this video that have explained at very simple level how to do weather, but also by going over some complexities. If you wanted to make it a bit more complicated, like having lakes freeze over, for example, then you now know how to do that as well, So it is midnight and it looks like it's not raining. So we'll wait. I'm going to leave this going, and when it starts raining, I'll cut the video back in. But just wrapping up, I think. So is there anything else I want to add? I don't think so. But yeah, as I say, you can make this as complicated or as simple as you want. And that will wrap up this 3-part series where we talked about how to make a game clock, and then expanded that to make an in-game calendar that works based off the clock. And then following on from that, we've now just done seasons so that we have weather that's appropriate to the time of year. So with that said, that will wrap up this video. I'm going to leave it going, as I say, hopefully showing that it will rain at some point. Obviously, again, it's a 50-50 chance, so you have to wait every single day for it to decide 50-50 if it should rain or not. So hopefully it won't take too long to do that. And obviously it goes without saying that because it's doing that every single day, you might have days in a row where it's not raining, or days in a row where it is raining all the time. So, again, you might need to adjust the values to change how much or how little rain you want on certain months. So, but anyway, that will wrap up this video. Hope it was interesting and useful. So it's just coming up to midnight on March the 2nd, of what will be March the 3rd. Let's see if it rains. And it has started to rain. Great. So you can see the rain is coming down on Saturday, March the 3rd. So what we'll now do is we'll just wait for 8 o'clock and make sure that the sun doesn't come out completely. It should be an overcast, grey day to go along with the rain. 8 o'clock. The torches are still on, so that's a good sign that it is doing that bit of code. So yeah, it looks pretty gloomy, doesn't it? So there we go. And then obviously, you know, we could wait for another day to see if the rain stops, and then the sun comes out when 8 comes around. But I don't think we need to do that. I think you get the idea. So there you go. That's our season weather implemented, and that will officially bring us to the end of this 3-part series. So like I said before, I'll wrap this video up here. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more tutorials.